I'm Daniel and this is Dave. Together we're going to explain to you what Newton's 3 laws of motion are. Who was Isaac Newton? Alright now Dave, you can take a break. Isaac Newton was born on the 25th of December 1642 and died March 20th, 1727. During his lifespan, he became a physicist, mathematician, astronomer, and the most influential scientist ever. On 1687, Newton published a pamphlet called Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, which described Newton's 3 laws. This revolutionized scientific thinking. Well, now we know more about Isaac Newton, but what is physics? Physics ultimately comes down to how. For example, how does a car move or how does a ball roll? The goal of physics is to understand the universe we live in. So, back to the question, what is physics? Well, it's basically using mathematics and applying it to real-world scenarios. Now, what was Newton's first law? Newton's first law relates to inertia. It states that an object will remain at rest or continue to move at a constant velocity until it is acted upon by an external force. Now this is where you come in, Dave. We're going to demonstrate this using a ball. Freeze. This ball is heading straight for Dave. It represents the object moving at a constant velocity, and it won't stop until it meets an external force. Here, the ball is at rest, and it won't move until an external force acts upon it. Just like that. Okay, on to Newton's second law. Newton's second law relates to F equals ma, or force equals mass times acceleration, which basically means that the more mass an object has, the more force it takes to accelerate it. Wake up, Dave! Here's an object of low mass. As you can see, Dave pushes it with ease, accelerating it forward. Now here's an object of high mass. Using the same force, Dave struggles to move the object forward, which lowers its acceleration. Going into Newton's third law, it states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, which basically means that when a force is exerted on an object, the object exerts the same force back. This is shown when Dave hops onto the skateboard and pushes against the wall. Freeze. Dave pushes the wall with 5 newtons of force, making the wall push back with the same force, causing him to go back. To further demonstrate, Dave will now try to pull the wall with the rope. Freeze. Dave is now pulling with 5 newtons of force, which again makes the wall pull back with the same force. Alright now, say goodbye, Dave. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Lucky B the Physics G and Jenya Gorbin for helping me further understand Newton's laws.
What? Oh, phone. What does it say? I'm sick and tired of my parents confusing and difficult actions and commands. Help. I just don't get them. I've been asked this question for a really long time now.
Sammy Simms, can you help me understand my parents?
I'm Sammy Simms, and I spend my time testing theories and investigating answers to your questions. Hi guys, Sammy Simms here. Do you ever get tired of your parents' confusing and difficult actions? Their insane commands? Well, I may have the answer that you seek to the age-old mystery of why kids and parents just can't get along with each other. You see, hidden in the deep, dark depths of your brain are these little teeny tiny things called the amygdala. What? The amygdala. Now, these little teeny tiny things are in charge of something insanely massive. They're in charge of impulsivity and decision making. Science tells us that the average amygdala doesn't mature until the age of 25. So this means no matter how hard we try to understand our parents or our parents try to understand us, it is physiologically impossible.
Oh no!
But don't take it from me. Take it from this teenager.
Trust me, my parents' language just doesn't make sense.
The owner of this phone.
Like when they say they'll be out of the store in 10 minutes.
Ahorita salgo en 10 minutos, okay?
But then come back in an hour.
It's enough to drive me mad.
Or how about when they tell you to wash the dishes, but then tell you to do something else? I'm done.
I thought I told you to put the dishes away!
Or how about the time they yelled at you to turn down your music just so they could turn the TV up? Audrey! What? Turn that music down! Oh my God! ¿Que no te dije que le bajaras esa música? Audrey, I thought I told you to put the volume down. Estoy tratando de ver kids.
What, you don't think I know what you're going through? I was a kid too once, you know?
Yeah, but in the dinosaur ages.
Oh well, not being able to understand the language of parents might be something we will have to deal with for the rest of our lives. As long as they live.
Biodiversity, the number of different species in an area. Why biodiversity is important. Biodiversity is valued for its beauty, economic value, and ecological value. But it's in danger. Hurting biodiversity.
Some ways to hurt biodiversity include extinction, habitat destruction. Poaching.
And the introduction of non-native species.
But there are ways to help. Helping biodiversity. Laws and treaties. Picking up trash.
Even though it may not seem like it, captive breeding can help threatened or endangered species. This can help endangered species reproduce so the species won't become extinct.
What can you do to help biodiversity? This is what we did.
Ice cream. There's totally ice cream. What are we doing? Why are we picking up trash?
Do 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 do. Watch it do do do. Watch it do 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 do. Watch it do do do. Watch it. I'm a little dog.
Fall in Love with Escondido by Lauren Hoff. Many years ago, when the little town of Escondido was just underway, the folks would travel by foot or horse. That's different than today. But if you travel along the side of the homes by Central School, just stop and look along the sidewalk in the shade where it's nice and cool. There you'll find a few treasures from past. Those rings are made of steel, the rings the folks would tie their horses to when they were stopping for a meal. Now several years have passed, but our memories are frozen in time. The folks in Escondido will smile as we spark the memories within this rhyme. The year is 1944. Let's take a hike in September. It's time to climb old Whitney's mountain with the giant E for all to remember. The 50s were very special. They seemed to go by in such a blitz. So if we wanted to catch a movie, we'd see it at the Ritz. On the way home, we'll need some groceries. At this time, there was no Target. I guess we'll have to take a detour and head over to Rube Nelson's Market. And if you were so lucky to be here in the winter of '67, you would have played in the snow at lunch, just around 11. Perhaps the snow just isn't your thing. You can go down at the Escondido Mall, or maybe catch the historical first game ever between OG and Esco football. The 60s were fun, so the next decade came. Escondido had this famous teepee, but in '77, a storm came through and blew it over. All that remains is just a memory. The 80s were booming, and the old train depot was placed just across the street. The President of the United States was there, who many Escondidans got to meet. If you're the kind of person who plays like a kid, go find the giant snake at Kit Carson Park or just head north to Jasmine Dean. The lights are still on so we can play baseball in the dark. Along these years, at some point in time, we all knew when the winter season began. But the first person to dress up as Santa himself was really the Jor Muffler Man. So should you feel the need to drive down memory lane or just listen to a band, join all the Escondidans and hear their stories as they hang out at Cruisin' Grand.
Tuloy kayo dito sa aming bahay. Mga kaibigan, tuloy kayo. Ito yung aking mga grandchildren.
Ano po, Nanay?
God bless you.
Ano po, Nanay?
God bless you. Filipino way of respect to the elder. So, tuloy kayo. Come on in.
We are video chatting with the people in California.
3 middle schools, 1 in Vista, California, and 2 in Maui, Hawaii, share the importance of preserving culture, or as it is said in Hawaiian, ho'o mau mo'o meheu. Although these schools are 2,500 miles apart, they can connect to share ideas, resources, and culture through technology. Today, students are collaborating and sharing music, playing the traditional Hawaiian instrument, the ukulele.
So I think it's a great idea that we start collaborating with other schools, especially ones that are in Hawaii. I think it's really great for you guys to learn from other cultures and for us to teach them about us, about what happens here in Vista.
Our schools aren't the only ones preserving culture. It is also reinforced at home.
I'm Maria Hernandez Vargas. I'm from the Philippines. I have 3 grandchildren, 2 boys and 1 girl. They all play ukulele, banjolele, guitar. I believe that music is food for your soul. Whatever you have problem, whatever you feel, music can help you. Plus, the more you learn, the valuable you're gonna be someday.
Students, teachers, and administrators participated in the cross-Pacific collaboration, playing songs, teaching chords, and sharing culture with one another. This connection was possible through the use of technology, which allows anytime, anywhere access to learning. To bridge the digital divide, my Nanay tried out a digital version of the ukulele on the iPad for the very first time.
It's nice, huh? It's nice, but it still need to learn in here. Where are the? Because I'm used to be using like this. Pretty good. Could be very easy, huh?
These connections go deeper than sharing music. It's about preserving culture. My Nanay's words sum it up best on why we must share culture with the next generation.
Because they are my grandchildren. They're my family. They should know about me. Someday I'm gone, they know where they come from.
When we connect and share music, we are preserving the history of the ukulele and ho'o mau mo'o meheu.
And Pendleton has one of the most interesting histories of all the Marine Corps bases in the world. The Ranch House complex includes the oldest buildings on the base, all built in the mid-1800s. The Ranch House and the Ranch House Chapel and Bunkhouse Museum. Rancho Santa Margarita y las Flores property were once a part of the Franciscan missions throughout California. It was the home to many important people. The first private owner of the ranch was Pio Pico and his brother. It was then taken over by the John Juan Forster family, O'Neill and Flood families, and finally the United States Marine Corps. As a working ranch, the cattle roamed the hills wearing a special brand. Once the Marine Corps acquired the property in 1942, it had been given permission to use the symbol as the Camp Pendleton logo. The logo is a visible connection to the past. On September 25, 1942, President Franklin Roosevelt was hosted by Commanding General Joseph Fegan at the Ranch House. He was the first of 5 presidents to stay in what would become the President's Room. Mary Lee Flood, the wife of James Flood, wrote a letter in appreciation to President Roosevelt for his care and protection of the ranch house after the military purchased it for Camp Pendleton. As part of the last family to live in this historic building, she was very pleased to know President Roosevelt appreciated the history of the ranch and would continue to care for it.
Today, Camp Pendleton covers about 25,000 acres, and there are approximately 36,000 people who live on base, including the families of Marines. There are approximately 42,000 active duty personnel and about 3,500 reservists who train on base. The historic Rancho Santa Margarita y las Flores site brings approximately 6,000 visitors a year. In fact, next year will be closed for renovations as the Marines continue to show their appreciation for these historic buildings.
The Teepee Man. The Plains Indians are Native American tribes who have traditionally lived on the greater interior plains of North America, mainly in what is now known as the states of North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, and Montana. These native people had been in the area for over 10,000 years. The buffalo was in their main source of food, shelter, and clothing. The buffalo provided an inexhaustible food source and material supply. The buffalo provided nearly all the necessities of human life. Shelter and clothing could be made from the skin, while weapons, utensils, toys, and much else could be produced from the bones. Tribes would venture out only once or twice a year in pursuit of the buffalo in these early days. The entire village would participate in the hunt. They would try to surround a herd of buffalo or drive it over a cliff or into a prepared corral. Once the buffaloes were carted back to the villages, the skins could be used in construction of teepees. A teepee is a cone-shaped tent made of animal skins, usually buffalo, upon wooden poles. The teepee is durable, provided warmth and comfort in the winter. It is cool in the heat of summer, and is dry during the heavy rains. Teepees can be disassembled and packed away quickly when people need to relocate and can be reconstructed quickly upon settling in a new area. A typical teepee stood about 14 feet tall. The hide weighed about 95 pounds, or 6.5 pounds per hide. Very heavy and a good barrier against the elements. A teepee would typically last about 10 years, and wore out through the damage of sun, not through the weather or hard use. Once scraped, the hides were tanned or turned into leather with the brains of an animal. 1 brain to 1 hide. The buffalo brain, which weighs about 3 pounds, was cooked in water for about 15 minutes, or until it turned white. While still warm, the brain matter was applied to both sides of the hide. When the Plains Indians were removed from their native lands and their traditional ways of life, many of their culture traditions were lost. The Plains Indians' tradition of constructing teepees using the brain tanning techniques has been received by Larry Blitz of Hot Spring, South Dakota. Before Mr. Blitz began making brain tan plain Indian teepees, the last time a buffalo hide teepee was created was 1879. There were no instructions on how to make this type of teepee. Mr. Blitz located several original teepees in museums and observed.
My name is Larry Baylitz, and my business name is Sue Replications. The name Replications means I replicate exactly how things were made. I tan buffalo hides, I make buffalo hide teepees. I've done about 65 teepees. The first thing you do is get a buffalo hide and have a freezer with 400 or 500. Sort all the hides, I grab one at a time. But I take the hide, I wash it, I stretch it on the frame like you see here. I take the fat and meat off, and then I wet it up and wash it, and I sew up all the holes, and then I have to work it for about 30 hours.
It takes an average of 40 hours to brain tan 1 buffalo hide. He has now brain tanned over 2,000 buffalo hides for museums, private collectors, movie props, and Native American ceremonies. Mr. Blitz has written several books on teepee constructions and brain tanning buffalo hides. He has served as a technical and historical advisor for several movies and TV shows, including Dances with Wolves, Wyatt Earp, and The Lone Ranger. The passion and hard working of one man has maintained these important cultural ways of the Plains Indians, keeping these traditions alive and perhaps inspiring others to do the same.
I'm Annessa Johnson, and this is my story. It all started May 2nd, 2009. I was getting my house remodeled, and I was a very hyper kid when I was younger. I was doing flips on a countertop when it detached from the wall and fell on top of me. After that, my mom had to tell me that I would be in a wheelchair. I remember we were watching an episode of Zach and Cody, and they were playing wheelchair basketball, and my mom asked me how I would like to be in one of those. I kind of waited for a second, but then I said I would love to have a hot pink one. The doctor said I would never move from the neck down, but me and my mom didn't listen to them and we proved them wrong. When I was in the hospital, I had a lot of breathing tubes and breathing machines, which is really annoying, especially when they dinged at night. But after that, my doctor signed me up for a Make-A-Wish, and I got to meet the cast of Shake It Up. At 6 years old, I had a heart attack. I don't remember when I had the heart attack, but I remember the day. We went to SeaWorld, and I remember I was feeling really hot, so my mom took me home and tried cooling me off. Then we were at the hospital, and I was in the emergency room, and then we were going in the elevator, and I passed out, and I don't remember anything after that. Since my injury, I have had 3 surgeries. I had one on my left hip, and then one on my right hip, and then I had one on my right arm, but that surgery didn't go as we planned. Since then, I've done wheelchair soccer, adaptive sports camp. I'm happy that I've been able to do all these things and prove the doctors wrong. To everyone out there, never let anyone stop you and don't give up.
Dear America, I was born 2 days after Christmas in 1924 in San Diego, California, in a house built by my father.
Dear America, I was born on December 4, 2002 at Tri-City Hospital, Oceanside, California.
My father was from Montana and my mother from Missouri. I am a descendant of immigrants. The Gardner family in 1623 at Cape Ann, Massachusetts, and the Noble family in 1631 at the Massachusetts Bay Colony.
My parents, Valdivia and Fulgencio Ramirez, both immigrated from Santa Marta, Oaxaca, Mexico to the United States in 1989. I am the youngest of 4 siblings. My grandparents, Graciela and Cornelio Ramirez, Valentina and Felix Lopez, currently live in Mexico.
On December 7, 1941, the attack on Pearl Harbor changed everyone's life. Our country was at war. A national draft for military service was enacted, and volunteers overwhelmed all recruiting offices. I was a 16-year-old senior at San Diego High School. 2 weeks before my 18th birthday, I enlisted in the Navy, 13 December 1942.
This country opened its arms to my family. America is what I call home. I sit in a classroom 5 days a week to get a free education, which nowadays kids take for granted, but I take it as an opportunity for me to improve my future. I am also able to fulfill one of my greatest passions, which is to play field hockey for 3 years now.
From the age of 13, I had planned to become a pilot by joining the Army Air Corps. I revised my choice of service to the Navy. I attended 4 different schools from 1943 to 1945, and in August of 1945 I received my Navy wings. I served more than 31 years in the U.S. Navy and fulfilled my childhood plans to be a pilot and head of a military family. My wife and I were married 64 years until her passing in 2009, and we had 5 children.
The selfless men and women in the military service are incredibly brave and inspiring. I've seen several action-packed movies that characterize war, but I know that more than just seeing it on a screen, somewhere around the world, military troops are risking their lives on the battlefield, fighting for us and in many cases dying to protect us. That's why today, and for as long as I live, I salute to those who have served and who are currently serving.
I was fortunate to be a child in a supportive and caring family. I was taught to be respectful to adults and kind to all. Scouting played a significant and meaningful role in my youth and early adult years. I became a Christian, committed to being open, sincere, and faithful. As a young adult, I became a scoutmaster, sponsored by the Naval Air Station Pensacola.
My parents came to this country empty-handed because of poor salary and lack of jobs. Growing up in Mexico, my parents worked tirelessly and often had little to eat. Because of this, they taught me to work hard for my dreams and aspirations because no goal is too big. They remind me that ambition is good to an extent, but to always remember that your heart and soul define you, because what you give to the world is what you will get in return.
My earliest memories of a strong, articulate, and successful presidency was that of Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression era of the 1930s. He worked tirelessly with Congress, enacting legislation that lifted a troubled nation from its rampant unemployment and relentless despair.
The first president in my memory was Barack Obama. Even though I am not old enough to vote, I was able to recognize his contributions to this country. I look forward to exercising my right to vote when I turn 18 4 years from now.
My dearest America,
I leave you with this.
Love and respect your country.
Love and cherish your family.
And love and care for the earth. Sincerely, Commander Robert E. Noble, U.S. Navy retired.
Sincerely, Odalise Ramirez.
Make this your pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Random acts of kindness are not that common in most middle school campuses. However, 3 students in Miss Cotton's 7th grade homeroom decided to brighten others' day and encourage their friends to spread kindness.
I was inspired to start these notes because I was having a really good day and I wanted to pay it forward. And you never really know what's going on in another person's life, so even the slightest little like, hey, how are you doing kind of thing could change someone's whole outlook.
I'm writing these notes because I want to make someone feel special in case they are struggling with something in their lives.
It not only is able to lift someone else's spirits, but it's also able to lift yours because you know that you're doing something nice for someone else and it just feels great doing it.
Through little sticky notes with comforting messages left, the girls have been able to spread happiness to other students in different classes who sit at their desks. Miss Cotton believes these notes and inspiring words are really important. She does not see them as a distraction in the classroom, but a nice surprise another student can receive and keep at the beginning or end of class.
We could have a kid come to school every day and they could have something going on outside of school that's affecting them. And so if we can spread a little bit of kindness and maybe take somebody's mind off of something negative that's happening to them, then that would be a positive thing.
My favorite part about these notes was when we received other notes in response, because that way I knew that it was spreading and that I was actually like having an effect on people, and that's, I don't know, that's really cool to just like have that effect on people.
Some things we wrote were like, you're doing amazing, just like to encourage them, lift their spirits. We would also like ask them questions like, how's your day going? I hope you're doing well. And then we would always like, on a Friday, we would always say like, have a great weekend, have a great day.
Sometimes life can get you down and you just need to get back up. So if you help people get back up, it might be easier for them.
Who could have imagined that 3 little sticky notes could have such a large impact? Originally, the goal was to spread kindness within Miss Cotton's classroom. Now, these girls want everyone to write notes throughout the entire school.
I encourage people to do this because, like I said, you don't really know what's going on in other people's lives, and even the slightest little hug or the slightest little question could help someone out entirely.
When I got the notes from my students and they would just kind of slide them in on my desk, it just made me feel appreciated and it just made me smile.
I think it's important to spread kindness because if someone is sad, they might really need help, and if you help them, it might change their lives forever. You never know what's going on.
3 girls with 3 little notes set out to brighten someone's day. In the end, they inspired an entire school.
What is Apple accessibility?
People might think having a disability is a barrier. But that's not the way I see it. I am an Apple editor, Final Cut expert, and college graduate. I also happen to have cerebral palsy. Hello. My name is Sadie Paulson.
Sadie has engineered solutions during a challenge and leveraged technology to improve conditions. This technology is her hands, her legs, her voice, her platform, her present, her future. The most powerful technology in the world is technology that everyone, including people with disabilities, can use to work, create, communicate, stay in shape, and be entertained. This innovative technology isn't designed for some people or even most people. It's designed for every single person. Using innovative technologies such as Fuse helps us to connect with one another in a meaningful way and allows us to communicate, conference, message, and collaborate anytime, anywhere, across any device. It is this technology that has connected us to Sadie, who will show us that by leveraging tools such as accessibility, she is learning to thrive.
Assistive technology has allowed me to pursue my passion. Without this technology, there were limitations to what I could do and how long it would take me. These were physical limitations that held me back from realizing my dreams. But I knew all along that I had the ability, the creativity and the passion to become a video editor, cinematographer, director or whatever I wanted.
Sadie is able to participate and thrive in a field that requires so many physical skill requirements. As storytellers, we have learned to engineer technology to share the power of story. We use our hands, our minds, and our voice throughout the production process. Sadie uses the same tools as we do, she just uses them differently. Assistive technology has helped her be successful and overcome her disability.
My hope is that there will someday be a solution to speed up my communication. Currently I use my own voice and gestures for communication, as well as an amazing app called Proloquo for text. But that takes time. I would love a solution where my communication is immediate, just like everyone else.
Sadie operates switch control by moving her head left and right, pressing buttons on both sides of her wheelchair headrest.
Living with CP has its challenges. My body doesn't respond the way everyone else's does. This world is set up for persons who don't have limitations. It takes me longer to speak, work and play than others do. But I can do all of those things. I just do them differently and it may take longer. But I challenge people to not think that I am different. I challenge them to look at me differently.
When technology is designed for everyone,
it lets anyone do what they love.
A devastating hurricane, a destructive earthquake, a raging wildfire, a dangerous combat mission. What's the solution? The LCAC. The LCAC stands for Landing Craft Air Cushion. The LCAC is operated by Assault Craft Unit 5 of the United States Navy.
The LCAC is used for high-speed ship-to-shore movement of Marines, their equipment, their vehicles. Just about always have LCACs that are on deployment with the Marines and with the Navy ships.
We carry personnel, M1A1 main battle tanks, assault craft vehicles, Humvees, MTVRs, you name it, it goes on there, we get it to the beach.
It's used year-round. We have LCACs that are currently deployed on amphibious ships.
This is a very complicated vehicle. It takes a lot of knowledge and skills to operate this assault craft.
This seat would be where the craftmaster sits, so the craftmaster's sole job is to steer the craft. He's overall in charge of the entire crew, and he drives the LCAC. Basically, you have a bow thruster, which this yoke here controls, and it controls those gray nozzles that are up on top of the craft on each side. So when you turn this yoke, it turns the nozzle and the air shooting out of there, and it kind of directs. We have some rudder pedals, and it controls the airflow behind the propellers, and that'll kick the stern of the craft left and right. And then we have controllable pitch propellers here. So actually our blades on our propellers, the pitch actually changes, and we control that with these little joysticks right here.
We should thank the Navy for protecting us, and you should feel a lot safer with LCACs.
In June 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea, and the U.S. Marines would soon be helping the South fight back against North Korea. During the Korean War, America had to overcome challenges like carrying heavy equipment over rough terrain. One of those pieces of heavy equipment was the recoilless rifle. The 75mm recoilless rifle is a powerful weapon designed for frontline use. It could shoot a 75mm shell several thousand yards with precision. It was 6 feet 10 inches long and weighed over 100 pounds. It took 4 people to carry it up mountains and hills because the cannon had no wheels. There were too many mountains and hills for jeeps to drive on. Ammunition had to be carried by soldiers. The war continued on the rugged, mountainous terrain of Korea, and in 1952, a platoon leader, Eric Peterson, was searching for a horse to help with the recoilless rifle. He finally found the horse he was looking for and purchased her for $250. Little did he know Flame's contribution to the conflict and saving lives would be priceless. Flame was trained by Marines, but Sergeant Joe Latham was the main Marine that drilled her into boot camp. They wanted to have her get used to the gunfires and explosions so she wouldn't be startled. She had to learn how to ride in a trailer, step over wires, and duck for cover. When she successfully was able to do the task she was given, Sergeant Latham finally knew she was ready for battle. The soldiers in the recoilless rifle platoon renamed their new Marine Reckless. Reckless would need all of her training in the Battle of the Nevada Complex. The land was defended by U.S. Marines. During the battle, a storm of bombshells was everywhere. Marines would hide in caves for protection, and all communications were lost. The Marines loaded Reckless with ammunition. She climbed up hills by herself and made it through curvy pathways. 3 mortars hit the side of their position. As the battle continued, Reckless quickly rushed into action to collect the wounded people and take them to safety. On one of the trips, Reckless was shielding 4 soldiers on their way to the front line. In exchange for her help, they threw their flak jackets on her for protection. Reckless delivered ammunition all day and was unfazed by noise or blinding smoke. In the end, the U.S. won the battle, and Reckless was awarded 2 Purple Hearts. After the war, on November 11, 1954, Reckless came home to Oceanside, California, to the Marine Base Camp Pendleton. When she got there, Reckless was the star of parades, had big dinners with cake and ice cream, and was named a hero. On June 15, 1957, Reckless was promoted to Staff Sergeant. Reckless retired on November 10, 1960, from the United States Marine Corps. She had 3 offsprings, named Fearless, Dauntless, and Chesty. Reckless died May 13, 1968. She was buried with military honors at Camp Pendleton. Reckless was a brave and intelligent horse who will be remembered for her heroic ability. Although people might see her as just a normal horse, Korean War veterans will see Reckless as a fellow Marine who helped our country.
Que ahí es donde llegaron nuestros abuelos, cada capilla, cada catedral, cada santuario. Siguieron llevando la tradición de los concheros. Dentro de la danza azteca, lo que antes era adoración a los dioses de aquellos tiempos, se quedó una cultura muy rica para hoy en día a nuestro Dios Padre y nuestra Madre Virgen de Guadalupe, Tonantzin. Mexicas, zapotecas, toltecas, chichimecas y todos los en relación a las razas étnicas que se encontraban en esos tiempos. Todo el vestuario que llevaban, hoy en día también lo seguimos conservando, que tienen los símbolos que traen los trajes, son de los mismos que usaban nuestros antepasados. Seguimos los ritos de nuestros abuelos, ancestros que han llevado dentro de la danza. Dentro de la danza rendamos copal, canto y danza. Es un rito muy bonito, muy rico, y el que la lleva siente una gran felicidad y sentimiento hacia la danza. Por ella, pues, nosotros estamos todavía hoy en día llevando la tradición de concheros. Él es Dios.
आजकल गलत बातें हैं हर जगह। आपको नहीं पता इसके बारे में। मैं आपको पढ़ाई करती हूँ इस बारे में। रमदान में आप खा नहीं सकते फजर तक मगरिब। रमदान में आप गाने और मूवी नहीं देख सकते। आपको ज़कात देनी होती है रमदान में। रमदान में आपको 5 दफ़ा नमाज़ पढ़नी होती है। रमदान में लड़कियां मेहंदी लगाती हैं। हर साल डेट्स चेंज होती हैं। रमदान शुरू होता है जब न्यू मून आता है। रमदान 9 मंथ है मुस्लिम कैलेंडर में। हम खजूर खाते हैं रोज़े के लिए। एक्सेप्शंस, अगर आप ट्रैवल कर रहे हो, अगर आप ब्लड हैं, रमदान मुबारक। हम सब नई गलत बातें करते हैं।
Hola, konnichiwa.
Bonjour.
I think it's important to learn more than one language because it allows us to communicate with more people around the world, in our own community. It allows us to connect with each other and be more empathetic people, learning about different cultures and different issues that arise in other communities that might not be our own. And it's also fun to just learn new things and explore new places and different cultures.
I recently got back from Thailand. I was there for 2 weeks and I got to go with someone who is Thai, so she showed us all like the local spots. She helped us learn a few phrases so we could get around, but pretty much there nobody speaks English. It's all Thai. Like it's really hard to order your food even, and because it's such a different language from what we're used to. So to take a taxi, to order food, to stay at a hotel, you need to have a little bit of Thai knowledge or have someone with you that speaks Thai because it's a really different language, so it's hard to be able to get around. So it was really cool to see the Thai language spoken, but I think next time I go there or anywhere you're traveling, it'd be good to learn at least a little bit of their native language because you can really learn more about their culture and just get around easier.
About how many people are learning sign language at this school?
I would estimate around 300 because we have about 43 students, 2 classes of 43 students every year.
How does this help San Diego and us connect?
As a foreign language, you can use American Sign Language wherever you want. You don't have to study abroad. You can go to events and communicate with deaf people, and it helps San Diego overall because it can produce sign language interpreters to help the deaf. It can just be community building and help people connect because of building communication.
Why are you learning sign language?
I'm learning sign language because from a young age, I always thought that the deaf community was really interesting. And a lot of my friends, their freshman and sophomore years took it. And I thought that it was always really cool how they were like able to communicate without like talking. So I thought that that was really cool.
And then how does sign language help San Diego?
Sign language would help San Diego because it would bring awareness to all of the deaf community that lives here. So all of the deaf people, all of the hard of hearing people, it would bring awareness to everyone, and yeah.
What language do you learn? Ciao!
Measure, mix, bake, and sprinkle. Today, we have for you two very talented contestants. So, Ella, what are you making? I'm making a confetti cake. Simple, but it should hopefully be good. So, Reagan, what are you going to make for us today?
Today I'm making bouchon. First you sift together all the dry ingredients. Then beat the eggs with the sugar and add the vanilla. Rotate, mixing the melted butter with the dry ingredients into the egg mixture. Then bake them for 20 to 25 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands up. We're done. All right, Ella, what have you made for us today?
Today I've made a confetti cake.
Well, the presentation isn't the best. I have to agree on that. But let's try it anyways. You know, always good to stay optimistic.
Ella, I need this recipe. This is the best cake I've ever had.
Today I made for you bouchon, which is like a mini chocolate lava cake.
That sounds amazing. Presentation is really good. Let's see how it tastes. Looks good.
It's very moist and it has a very chewy, crumbly texture. I really like it. Nice job, Reagan.
You did spectacular. Alright, I think it is time to discuss the winner.
But there's no need to discuss. It's obvious.
Okay. The winner of Measure, Mix, Bake, and Sprinkle is Ella Mondero!
Wow, you guys have a big sense of humor around here.
No, we're serious. You won.
What? No way! No way. You won.
We hope you enjoyed our comedy, but in reality, the bouchon was much better.
This is the adhesive mount for your GoPro in which you can stick to helmets and other items. You then can add a mount to it and attach it to your GoPro. This is the suction cup mount. You can attach this to windows or flat surfaces to get different angles or make filming easier in a car. This is the selfie stick. The selfie stick can be used to get wider angles or to get wide selfie shots. This is the wrist strap. It is a mount that lets you quickly pivot it upright to shoot photo or videos. This is the personal flotation device for your GoPro. It can be used so that your GoPro does not sink in water such as the ocean or a pool. This is the head strap. The head strap is one way to get a POV shot, and it allows you to have both hands free while using it.
This is the chest strap. It is another way to get POV shots. It also allows you to have your hands free. It could also get you a face shot by turning the GoPro upwards, facing towards you.
This is the mini gorilla tripod. It can be used to wrap around objects and get still shots. The legs are extremely flexible.
We hope this video has inspired you
To get out
and film with your GoPro!
Hey, what's up, dude? You want to go to a party tonight?
Okay.
FYI, you have to wear.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Hello, I have come to teach you how to tie a tie. First, have the small side half as long as the large side. Then, loop it over the small side twice. Then, loop the large side through the neck hole. And then, through the knot you just made. Then, pull it tight and put the small side under. Then use the thin part to slide up the tie. Tighten it as much as you want, then put the collar down. Here, you try.
Hi, I'm Bree.
And I'm Jaden. We'll be showing you a few small acts of kindness to make someone's day.
These are just a few suggestions that you can do to make someone else's day feel good.
Because you never know what people are going through. If you see someone sitting alone, offer to sit next to them.
If you like someone's shirt, compliment them.
No, leave it alone. I like it. It looks good on you. If you see someone drop their books, offer to give them a hand. Doing these little things can make one person's day in an instant.
Thank you for watching our video on how to make someone's day with just a few small gestures.
In a world where video games are everywhere, on your phone, on your TV, and on your laptop, you need to know how to play video games to survive. My name is Evan Lam, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to game. First of all, many people actually disapprove of gaming, surprisingly. And for one reason was because it causes a lack of exercise. They believe that no exercise is involved. Well, I'm here to tell you, you are wrong. Exercise is involved in video games. There's a lot of exercise for your fingers. Take a look at how this intense gamer's fingers are working. When you come to think of it, actually, gaming is actually really simple. You just need a few materials, like an Xbox, laptop, PS4, phone, controllers, games, food, drinks, headset, and friends. All these materials will only cost you, well, a lot of money. But don't worry, all this money is being spent on a good cause. Gaming. Now that you know all the materials that you need in order to game, it's time to learn how to actually play them. First off, I'm going to start off with two of my favorites, the Xbox and the PS4. In order to move around, use the left joystick at the top with your thumb. To look around, use the right joystick with your other. To shoot your weapon, press down on the right trigger. To use the scope to get better aim accuracy, press down on the left trigger. Next, I will show you a laptop game. This laptop game happens to be Osu.
Osu is a rhythm-based game in which you follow the beat of music, and you use either your mouse or the keyboard to follow the notes accordingly. There are circles that slowly land on the circular notes in which you need to click accordingly.
Coming to my personal favorite, I'm going to teach you how to game on my favorite device, the mobile one. Now let me teach you how to play a few of my personal favorite games. The first being Flappy Bird. To play this game, tap on the screen. Another one of my favorite games is Crossy Road. To play this, tap the screen. My seventh favorite game has to be Tap Tap Revenge. To play this game, tap the screen. Now that I've shown you all the basics of gaming, it's time to show you a montage of professional gaming. Cue the montage! I hope this lesson of gaming helped you become a better gamer. Once again, I am Evan Lamb, and thank you for watching this lesson on how to game. Now I'm gonna have to take a little rest because my fingers are really tired from all that exercise gaming. Ooh, pretty sore. See how much exercise we get? Oh.
You're trapped inside a room, and your heart is racing.
The world is depending on you guys.
The sheer adrenaline of the race against time has you on edge as you look around in search of clues that might help you escape. Suddenly, you hear a voice.
We have some intel. Team, you need to work together. We believe what you have found will be important.
It's a clue that takes you one step closer to escaping. The popularity of escape rooms has skyrocketed in the past couple of years, with advertisements popping up all over the internet. But creating one of these perplexing mysteries is not as easy as it may seem. We met with the game master at Clue Avenue to get some insight on how it's done.
What went into it was a lot of planning. We first started out by sitting in and saying, okay, what are the resources that we had? Another thing was a lot of research. We wanted to know, what's involved in creating a good escape room. A lot of us worked on different aspects. We came up with ideas, we researched it, and we saw if it worked or not, and then we created a game. We play tested it to see if the puzzles that we even made worked and if they worked well together, and then we started it out.
Their prices range on the average from $30 to $50. And what do you get? You get a challenge to critically think, collaborate, and problem solve for an hour.
Getting locked in a room was interesting, but working together to solve a mystery, now that was challenging.
It's really interesting to see how groups interact with each other. I think the most fun I have is with families because they don't care about being rude to each other.
People of all ages are enjoying this trend as they put both their team working and investigative skills to the test.
You find out interesting group dynamics when you do an escape room with your friends. Yeah, I would do another escape room. It's lots of fun and something different.
This group couldn't escape in time to save the world. The question is, will you?
A couple of our crew members from MTV decided to do some real homework. They set out to find cheap, yummy food around Escondido. Comida, comida y más comida. A segment about food, food, and more food.
Imagine walking into the light, walking into heaven. Well, that's what we did when we stepped foot in the Burger Bench. The Burger Bench is a new favorite eatery located on historic Grand Avenue in Escondido. Specializing in burgers, they use all local fresh produce and meat, making this restaurant a local favorite.
Hi, welcome to Burger Bench in historic downtown Escondido. Come on inside. Just want to tell you a little bit about our fresh and local offerings. Our buns are made in Escondido at O'Brien's. A lot of our produce is grown in Escondido. Our honey comes from Escondido. Our chorizo's made in Escondido down the street. So what we try to do is bring flavor, local flavor, into the restaurant and offer it to our customers. And what we have here is where a lot of the magic happens. You take the order. We have a menu that's kind of dialed in. Everything on it is really good and everything is made to order.
As we ordered, we were benched to wait for our food.
You see what I did there? The Burger Bench. We were benched. Okay, let's go back.
We tried their organic and rare sodas.
Wait, they don't have Coke or Pepsi?
They have cola draft.
As well as their delicious sliders, wings, and of course, their tater tots. And if that wasn't enough, breakfast is coming out soon.
And it all happens in here. And it's all super fresh, made to order. Come back here. People ask me, should I follow my dream? And I say, yes, you should always follow your dream. Don't let anybody tell you no. Remember, you can never get to the finish line if you don't take the first step. That's how I got here, and that's how Burger Bench came to be.
C. Claro que sí. Congratulations, Burger Bench. You earned 3 C's out of 3.
Logan Kechter here, reporting live from Channel 206. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing future Olympian Michael Sheehan. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Mr. Kechter.
What got you interested in ice skating?
I got interested in ice skating after I started watching it on TV, and it seemed just like really cool and fun.
What's your commitment to ice skating?
I have to wake up every morning. Well, I have to wake up most mornings at 5. I jump rope and I do off-ice jumps before I get on the ice.
So how many hours do you usually ice skate at a time?
Usually at a time I skate 1 to 2 hours. Every week I usually skate 9 to 12 hours.
How many competitions have you competed in?
I have competed in 4 competitions.
What is your goal and how do you plan to get there?
My goal is to compete at the 2022 Olympics, and I plan to get there by working hard every day and skating well.
What is your greatest achievement in ice skating so far?
My greatest achievement is landing my double lutz clean, and I landed my axel on my first day as well.
Thank you for coming into the studio today, Michael. Good luck in the Olympics.
Thank you.
There comes a time in everyone's life where they have to make a decision. Are you going to live life happily, or are you going to be miserable? This is the story of a woman who's missing a limb, but still manages to be happy and have a positive attitude.
I lost my arm 22 years ago in a boating accident where the driver that hit the boat I was sitting in floating down the river was under the influence of alcohol. I'm lucky to be alive. It's been 22 years. I've had a few reconstructive surgeries, and I'm thankful to be alive and thankful to work with the kids I get to work with.
Miss Galik is an adapted physical education teacher at Carmel Valley Middle School. She creates a positive environment for students with disabilities. The students in our class are able to participate in a wide range of sports with their peer tutors, who are there to encourage them and support their needs.
I would definitely advise people at times that when life can seem overwhelming, you just gotta focus it at little chunks. You gotta think hour to hour, day by day, week by week, and then as you can look out, trying to find, even if you now are in a wheelchair, there's so many activities and sports that you can participate and to still have the life maybe in a different set of body, but using other advantages and tools to help you, like a wheelchair or a prosthetic, something to have you still have that active life, but in a different way of participating. But don't let life's challenges stop you from living and enjoying the small things in life. There's so much out there to explore, even with having a disability, and just hold your head up high. Be proud of who you are. We don't choose to have a disability. Sometimes that's just what happens in life.
She helps me on playing handball and doing push-ups and doing planks.
Well, Miss Galik's always positive and always encouraging us to do our best, and I feel if I don't do my best around her, then I'm going to be letting her down. And just her being able to give us the opportunity to work with all these kids who are so sweet and kind, it makes me feel special, because I know not everybody who put in an application to be in this class, not everybody got in, and I feel special to be able to be in this class, and and she just makes me feel very special and want to try a lot harder.
The purpose of Chicano Park Day is celebrating a takeover that happened 47 years ago yesterday, or Saturday. The community of Logan Heights took over the park after the city had promised them a park and never kept their promise. So the community came together and took the park over. It took 12 days to take over the park, and finally the city let the people have the park. So that's the purpose, is celebrating the takeover of Chicano, of before it was even Chicano Park, is just celebrating the takeover. Well, the highlight for me is honoring our elder, Ramon Chunky Sanchez. He was at the takeover of Chicano Park. He was part of the young people that took over the park, and now today they're our elders, and so I'm just really happy and fortunate to be able to honor Chunky and everyone else that was there. We were able to honor him and remember him. So that was my highlight, is remembering him, honoring him. I even did a art piece to honor him. This is a poster that I put together. That's a poster and a t-shirt, and he just like other people around the world, for me, he's a hero for me. He's a person that's always gonna be in my life, and I'm always gonna try to do my best to keep him alive, to keep his legacy alive. Well, what do I get out of Chicano Park Day? Well, one thing is I sell a lot of my merchandise, a lot of my artwork, so I get to share my artwork. People can buy my artwork there. But what I get out of it is a sense of unity and community, and able to see a lot of people that are like-minded, like myself, and other people that don't know much about the Chicano culture, to come and share the day, enjoy the day, enjoy a cultura. There's a lot of really nice people that come, a lot of really popular people that are involved in the movement, and it's good because I get to see a lot of people I haven't seen all year. I get to see them at Chicano Park and a lot of people I grew up with, so it's been real good for me.
UN Sustainable Goals is a global call for action to improve the lives of people everywhere in order to transform our world.
Goal 14 poses a global challenge to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources. As much as 40% of the world's oceans are heavily affected by human activities, including pollution and the loss of coastal habitats. Marine debris is an increasing threat to human health and well-being, and affects a wide range of marine organisms.
Our drinking water, climate, coastlines, much of our food, and even the oxygen we breathe are all connected to the sea. Careful management of this essential global resource is a key feature of a sustainable future.
Change starts with you. Seriously, every human on Earth is a part of the solution. If we all do our part to keep our oceans clean, we will improve the lives of people everywhere.
Let's build a better world together.
For most people, life is full of ups and downs. They make it through the lows to experience the highs. But for people living with mental health challenges, life may not play out that way. Due to negative misconceptions, they can feel like they're stuck on the downside of a teeter-totter with nothing to lift them up. This is when they need you to help balance them out. Join the mental health movement, be supportive, get the facts, talk openly, and stand up for others. And help change the stigma toward mental health.
A garden is a place where plants and flowers grow and thrive. But hidden within the garden are danger signs. Danger signs like weeds. When a healthy plant begins to grow, a weed can choke the life out of it. Just like weed can choke the life out of people who smoke it. Nearly 30% of those who smoke weed become addicted. Marijuana can ruin the development of young brains. Marijuana can increase the risk of psychosis. Don't let smoking weed choke the life out of you. Don't smoke weed.
Welcome to the California Coastline News. Today, our topic is zero waste. You bet it is. And we're also going to have solutions so you can make a difference in the world. Let's get started. While looking at this video, I could see some trash. Yeah, and imagine what would happen if it went into the ocean and a sea animal or bird thought it was its prey and ate it. That would be horrible. The piece of trash could also get caught around the animal's neck and choke them. Yeah, that would also be pretty terrible. There is a dolphin named Winter. She was found stranded in Mosquito Lagoon, Florida when she was only 2 months old, entangled in a cut-off piece of crab trapline, which cut off circulation to her tail flukes. Oh, that is so sad. I've never heard about that horrible story. This is why we do not want to litter. Littering can hurt or kill an animal. It is pretty tragic. I just hope you all can make a difference by not littering, like plastic straw wrappers. Oh yeah, plastic straw wrappers may seem like no big deal, but since they're so small, they go into a drain when you drop them and end up at the beach. Then birds will eat them, and since plastic doesn't digest, they will always feel full, and then they will die because they never ate food again. Yeah, even though something can be small, it can make a difference, just like you can. You can make a difference by picking up about 10 pieces of trash every day. Now we will show you some solutions with reusing plastic water bottles. We will show you how to make a reusable magnetic water bottle and a planter. For the planter, you will need a plastic water bottle, dirt, X-Acto knife or scissors, plant of your choice, optionally string to hang it up, and optional decorations such as pebbles. First, cut a hole in the side of your water bottle for the sunlight. Then fill with dirt and plant your plant according to the directions on the package. Then decorate. Next, if you want to hang it up, cut 2 holes on each side next to each other and tie the string. Then you're done. Way to make a difference. To make the magnetic water bottle, you'll need to get a plastic water bottle, Gorilla Glue, Super Glue, or hot glue gun and a magnet. If you like to decorate it with duct tape, go get duct tape. First, if you want to decorate it with the duct tape, wrap that around the whole entire water bottle, except the cap. Then, take the Gorilla Glue, Super Glue, or hot glue gun, and put a little bit on the side of the water bottle. Then, stick the magnet on. And then you're going to put it on something magnetic, like a fridge. Then, ta-da! If you don't have time for that, you can use a reusable bag instead of a plastic bag. You can also use a reusable water bottle instead of a plastic water bottle. That's what I do! Did you know that San Diego has set a goal to keep 75% of all materials out of landfill by 2020 and reach zero waste by 2040? Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. You can make a difference in the world no matter how old you are. Thank you for watching the California Coastline News.
Here at Capri Elementary, we have designed a really cool waste management system. It starts during lunch when the students separate their waste into different bins. Worm composting, citrus, recyclable, and trash. At the end of the day, we take the composting scraps to our school worm bin, which then feeds our school garden.
So now we're going to dump this out into the worm bin so we can make it into compost.
This eventually comes back to lunch in the fruits and vegetables we eat.
So Capri used to have about 15 bags of full trash before we put the waste management system in place. So we would throw out 15 full bags of trash during lunchtime every day. When we use the scrap cart and we use it properly, Capri only actually throws out less than 2 bags of trash per day. So that's a pretty big change. Each bag of trash weighs about 15 pounds, so you can do the math on that one. We're saving a lot of money and a lot of space in the landfill.
Why did USD put this waste management into every school?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, we did it for a couple reasons. One, we are an environmental school district, so we try to encourage practices that are good for the environment. And sorting through your waste and recycling what you can and composting your fruit and vegetable scraps is good for the environment. We also did it to save money. By putting the scrap cart system in place, we've saved the school district over $40,000 every year because we're no longer throwing out trash, or we're no longer throwing out the recycling material when we could be putting it in the recycle bin.
How does the scrap cart help our school?
It helps because Mr. Shaw used to always take out trash, and now we can reduce more trash bags.
How do you feel about the scrap cart?
I feel great because now we can help everybody to put the trash in the correct column.
How have Capri students responded to using the scrap cart?
They responded for following directions while we said where should we put the trash and the composting center.
Is the scrap cart working?
Yes, it is working because, as I said, Mr. Sean used to throw a lot of trash bags, and now we can recycle more.
Please join Capri in reducing your school's trash and help save the environment.